inside of me. In this desert I can look.
Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to make up your bread dough or anything that is yeast-based dough. Okay, so in here I've got my plain flour, which is the same as all-purpose. You don't always need bread or strong bread flour. I've also added in my yeast, and that was a packet of yeast, a 7-gram packet, which equates to I think 2 1/4 teaspoons. So I always put the yeast in first, and then what I do is I mix it around, a good mix in. So now the yeast is actually coated. I don't like doing the separate end adding. So what I then do is I'll add in the sugar, which is 1 teaspoon. There's a half, another one. Mix it up. And now I will add in my salt. The salt is not to come into direct contact with the yeast, so you don't pile them on top. At the moment the yeast is coated with the flour, okay, so it can't have direct contact. So my salt is going to be 1 teaspoon, so that's a half, and another one. I'm just going to mix it in. Now it also calls for a tablespoon of olive oil, this particular recipe, okay. So everything I mix. Now I'm going to add in this case it's kind of tepid water. Never use boiling or very hot water, it will degrade the power of the yeast or sometimes kill it, and your bread won't rise. You can use cold water too, it's fine. When it's a tiny bit warm, it will kickstart the activation of the yeast a little bit better. If you want to do a long, slow proof, you can make up your dough with cold water and proof it overnight in the fridge. But we're doing it quicker today, and I'm going to add in the water. I'm only going to add a little just now, and I'm going to just give it a mix in. Now you can of course put this in the machine now and start adding it in, but what I want to tell you about the water or whatever liquid you're using, no recipe can ever be exact. So this one is 300 to 400 grams, or 300 to 400 millilitres even, of the water. Now the reason is different flours absorb a different amount of liquid. Different places are milled, different ways are milled, all determines a different amount. So this is why sometimes the amount can fluctuate. As long as you know what the dough is to look like once you've added in the liquid, you know, that will tell you when to stop adding. So this particular recipe, it's going to actually be quite a sticky dough. So we might need it all, we might not. But a lot of pushing down and letting the flour take on the liquid. So what I'm going to do is just tilt it down, expose the dry areas, then more. Let it swirl around. Right to the bottom. As you get nearer, you want to start to add smaller amounts of liquid. Not really sticky just now. It's not dry either. Oh yes it is, there's a little dry there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually put it on the mixer, and I'll get the dough hook on, and I will add a little bit more liquid and I'll stop it and I'll let you see it. So that's it, a bit sticky now. Okay. What we're going to do is actually knead it, and by the time it's kneaded it won't be quite as sticky. At the end of this particular recipe we want it just to be a little bit sticky after the kneading. You have to go by the recipe to know exactly what kind of feel and touch your bread, your dough is meant to be. So I'm going to put it on medium speed and knead it with a dough hook for 4 minutes, and then I'm going to actually show you how to flip it over and knead again and make sure it's all kneaded and what it looks like at the end. Okay, so we're halfway through kneaded. I've lifted it up and look at the way it's hanging on now. That's because the gluten is getting stretched and it's getting started, getting on with its job, let's say. So I'm going to scoop it down. If it's really, really sticky, oil something that you're going to use. My usual spatula, my rubber one, has disappeared. So take it off. And like you see what it's like now, it is very soft. Now, it's a little bit sticky there. Now, if it had been very sticky, what you can do is oil your hands and just do this, tip it down, encourage it to move down. Imagine it was sticky and your hands are oily, and then you're just flicking it over so it's turning it upside down, because we now want to knead it again. And it feels really nice and soft at the moment. But it's only had 4 minutes, so I'm going to continue again for another 4 minutes and I'll let you see what it's like again. Okay, now I want you to see what it looks like now after it's had its 8 minutes. Nice, I can touch it. A wee tad sticky, but nothing's coming off my hand. But can you see the way it's hanging? That's again, it's the gluten. See? So what we're going to do now is we're going to scoop it down, scoop it off, all of it. Dropping things. And now what I'm going to do, turn it here a little bit, it's actually going to be put into a sprayed large bowl. I don't keep it in the metal. Metal isn't very good with the heat, so it's sprayed just with some baking spray. Okay. You can oil it as well. Big size because it's going to improve and get bigger. So I'm just scooping it down now. Get my bowl ready, less touching as possible. And what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to just show you something as well. With your obviously clean hands, and if it's, as I say, if it's too sticky, get a bit of oil on your hands. Don't put more flour on it, that won't work and it interferes with the structure of it. So I've got it out, tiny bit sticky. Have a feel of your dough, because before you actually kneaded it, you can see the difference, okay? But it's also very, very soft, and it's not like that before. If you're using whole wheat flour, it will be a bit more rough. Okay, so just bear that in mind. But it's lovely and soft. Make it into a disc or to a ball, and put it in the bottom. And what I do is I wrap it well with cling film, plastic wrap, put a little bit round. Nice and tight. And then, just because it's still a wee bit cold today and we've had the windows open, I put a towel on it and I go and I put it next to some kind of heat. It would be the radiator in this instance, and it's to give it a constant heat with no drafts or fluctuation in temperature. And time to time I'll just turn it round, but before I do that, have a look at where it is up. in the dish, and we will come back and that'll be double the size. Anything from an hour to hour and a half, depending on how cold the room is. Okay, so you can see that the dough has really risen well on its proving time. It's double, if not more than double. The next important stage for your bread to rise properly is known as knocking the dough back. So you're taking your knuckles and you're knocking out the air from the dough. Basically what this does is it redistributes the yeast cells so they can start feeding again off the flour and the sugar, so they have another good rise when they have the second proof and then when they're baking.
Seeing eyes of mine, you see, there are no trees inside of me. In this desert I can look at you with love. Seeing all that I can learn. Can you stay and I will grow?